to my mini review of Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I'll be going through the plot, what I love about the book, what I wasn't too keen on, and then I'll be going into Spoilerville about more about what I didn't like and what I really liked, because yeah, I just can't, I need some spoilers in there. So it'll be friendly for people who haven't read the book and for people who have read the book. So let's get into it. My setup today is a bit different because I'm visiting my friend in Nottingham, but I finished this yesterday and I've just been brewing all night. I freaking loved it. It's just so good. Like, the last 20% of this book had me by a chokehold. Oh my god, right. But let me get into the plot. So this story follows Paydin, a girl living in the slums, and basically in this world there's a town called, there's like a country, or I don't even know what you call it, town, kingdom called Eeeeeek, and basically centuries ago there was a disease and it killed loads of people, but then it made some people get some powers, and they're known as the elites, and these powers can be forceful, so strength, fire, water, like can duplicate their bodies, like everyone's got a different power, or they can be mundane, so read minds, have heightened hearing, like senses, etc. And then there are people who survived the disease, but then they didn't get any powers, and they're called the ordinaries. And there's this rumor going around, spread by the king, that the ordinaries can disease and mute the powers of the elites. So it follows Paydin, and she is a hidden ordinary, and she pretends to be a psychic basically to survive in this world. And what happens is she ends up by accident saving Kai, who is the king's son and future enforcer, and his main job is literally finding ordinaries and killing them, but she ends up accidentally saving him without knowing who he is. And then she ends up in these trials called the purging trials, which happen every 5 years, to test elite powers and to see who's the strongest, and she kind of has to survive that while also keeping her identity hidden. And yeah, that's the gist of it. So what I loved about this romantic fantasy is pretty much everything. I just love Paydin. I am a sucker for a badass FMC. Oh, she's just sick. And even though she's an ordinary with no powers, she's very strong. She's really good at archery. She's good with knives. She's quick on her feet. And she uses her surroundings to help her with her psychic ability, like to trick the elites into thinking that she is an elite. I also liked that when she's thrown into these trials, she doesn't have an easy time. Obviously she's versing elites, and I like that that's highlighted in this book. It seems more plausible that she's getting through the trials but not easily, and she needs a lot of help. That's all I'll say, so no spoilers. I love the friendship and the banter between like friends and kind of the flirtatious love interests throughout. This is kind of a slow burn romance, and I don't think this is an enemies to lovers really, because they're never really enemies. And I know some people will disagree with me there, but straight from the get-go, Kai is just interested in Paydin, and he's very forward with that, and they just flirt. And then Paydin's wary of him and is like, I shouldn't like him, but she never doesn't like him. So I don't think we can say this is enemies to lovers in this book. But it is a slow burn romance. It's a survival games, like survival of the fittest kind of thing. They get chucked into these trials, gave me some Hunger Games vibes. Definitely with like the interview bits at the beginning. I did really like that. There were some things I wasn't so keen on, but I'll go into that in a second. The world building was really easy to understand, and I liked the explanation of the powers. That was really, really cool. I really liked Kit as well, which is Kai's brother, their relationship, and like Kit and Kai, and then Kit's relationship with Paydin. It was just so well written. Like, it's addictive, really addictive. There's a bit of a lull in the middle, but the last 20% of this book, you will not be able to put it down. I couldn't. I was stormed through it. oh, it was so good. The ending was so good. I haven't had that feeling in so long. However, going into the things I wasn't keen on was the trials that they went through, because there wasn't much purpose to them. Like, each trial, they had a goal and you wanted to win each trial. There's 3 until you get to the end. But it never really explains what winning the trial will do, like, for that person, because at the end of each trial, the citizens of Eeeeeeek, they vote who their favourite is, because they get to watch it on the screen, and that kind of helps you towards your winning goal. But if you lose the trials, it doesn't really explain what's going to happen, like how that impacts your score, and if you win it, it doesn't really impact your score. Like, and it's kind of, even after the second trial, we're not told like the leaderboard, like who's winning, because different people win different trials. Yeah, and even for the last one, like, it was kind of like, oh yeah, if you do this, you win. And I was thinking, well, what's the point of the other trials then? Like, because no one got a head start. Kind of, I was thinking a bit of the Goblet of Fire, you know, where obviously each of the students go through trials and then they get a head start, or you start the maze sooner if you were higher up on the leaderboard, like Harry Potter went in there before everyone else, and Harry and Cedric. But that wasn't really explained in this book. Everyone just started at the same time at the last trial. So I was kind of thinking, well, what was the whole point of all the other things and the tasks they were given? It didn't add up to me. Lastly, there was some cringy things in the book, and I was like, oh, I want this to end. I think it only happened twice to me. Other than that, the flirting and the banter and everything was spot on, but there was just one instance where I really nearly even skipped the page because it was giving me that much cringe. So overall, I gave this a 4 out of 5. I might improve it to a 4.25 because I loved it. The ending was epic. It was so good. Now I'm gonna go into the spoiler bits about what I really loved and what I didn't love, just quite briefly. But what I loved, spoiler edition, I'm always a sucker for wanting the main female or main character to get with the person that I know they're not going to get with. But I actually really love Paydon and Kit, like their relationship, how it blossomed, and how, like, she couldn't look at him because of he had his father's eyes, but then they kind of became this friendship, and I think she was really comfortable around him, and I ended up really liking them together. But I knew that was never it was never going to be those two the end goal. But I did love reading their chapters and their bits together, and I did predict that obviously she'd betray him and then he would go crazy, which does happen. But then I did really like Kai and Paydon. There wasn't really much, like, he wore his heart on his sleeve the whole time, basically. So instantly you knew she really liked him. I loved, the ending. This is true enemies to lovers setup. This is why I don't think this book is enemies to lovers. However, because now we know the characters, we know their stories, we've gone through the book with them, now they are enemies. He killed her father, she killed his. Kai is the enforcer now. His brother is king, also hates Paydon. Paydon's on her own, she's got no one. And now they are enemies. Should be some tension. They're going to be trying to kill each other. And then obviously, I think we know they will end up being together. I'm assuming it is a trilogy. So who knows, it might go a bit in the other direction. But, like, she might meet someone else while she's on her own. But yeah, I feel like we're going to get a proper enemies to lovers book. And I have not read this in so long. I feel like so many books are enemies to lovers where we don't really know or see them as enemies. But it's done so well, the setup for the next book. Kit has turned kind of evil. I'm sad because I loved Kit in this book, but I'm ready for some messed up Kit. I'm ready for some troubled Kai, who's just killing crazy. And I'm ready for Paydon to go on this adventure. My heart broke when Adina died. I hope Blair is dead, or actually I hope she's not dead, so then Payden can get her revenge. Cannot wait for July. Bring it on. I'm gonna eat it up. I can't wait. I haven't felt this way about a book in so long. Oh, I love it. But going into what I didn't like, the cringe moments for me, them dancing in the forest like Kai and Payden. I don't know how to do the small one. Oh my god, I was so embarrassed. Like, why are they just dancing with no music, knowing that they're going to be like they're being watched? Oh, it just gave me the ick. And even when like they kissed, like they didn't kiss, but they had like a brief touch of the lips, and it was pouring down with rain, and she was just like went out there and was like throwing her hands up. That gave me cringe. And I was thinking, what, you've just danced with Kit and now you've gone outside. Everyone knows you're outside with Kai now, and then they're not even hiding it. I don't know. It just, yeah, I wasn't keen on that. Also with the trials, okay, I'll quickly get into what I mean. I feel like I'm rambling, but so the first trials, the note literally says you need to get as many bans as possible to win. If you don't get any bans, you're in trouble, like something's gonna happen. Okay, I found it finally. So, welcome to the first trial. In the Whispers you will be. We hope you stay a while. In this game of honour and dignity. The good of this game is quite clear, and for the winner we will cheer. Become victorious by collecting the bans, the ones that rest high above your opponent's hands. Collect from those who have been branded. And be warned, if you return empty-handed, if you wish to win you must have the most. Then of your glory will brag and boast. But the end is drawing near, we have 6 moons to play. Welcome to the trials, and pray blah 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 blah. So that's giving me vibes of, you need to get, if you get more bans, that means something. And if you, be warned, if you return empty-handed, that's not going to be a good thing. But no, literally, we don't even find, we know that Jax didn't finish the trials with a band, but then we know nothing about what happened to him. I guess he did come last in the polls, but it's not explained that that's because he didn't have a band. Like, it makes it look like the polls only were people voting, like the voting polls. And we never even found out who won, like who had the most bans. And then even with the second one, Payden wins the flag. Well, we're not even then told the leaderboard. And then even in the final trials, the king's like, yeah, get to the middle of the maze and then kill the person there, and then you've won. So what was the point of all the other trials? Like, it didn't explain it well enough for me. And I feel like the little meetings before, like the get to know the contestants before the trials began was so Hunger Games vibes. A bit too much for me. It could be a little bit different. Yeah, that was a bit frustrating. And then the last thing, a bit spoilery, was the fact that when Payden is running to go to loot, and then the king just stumbles out, he's a bit injured, and then he's right in front of her. Convenient. Like, you're telling me that none of his guards are near him, or that he's not protecting his wife, who it's literally says so much in the book how much they love each other, and he's only really happy and caring around her. Like, I felt like that, and then no one interrupted their whole brawl. It just felt too, laid out on a platter. But I did like that fight, though, and the fact that he branded her, and then there was a big reveal. I knew that the king didn't kill her dad, but I thought it was the dad's friend, because he seemed a bit iffy when she met them all, the resistance, and she was like, is that why the king killed my dad? And he kind of was frowned and looked a bit confused, and he was like, I think so. So I was thinking, did he kill him, the dad? And then obviously I reckon he knew Kai killed the dad, but didn't want to tell her because she was obviously caught up with both of them. What am I expecting for the next book? It's just some badass moments. I want proper enemies. Like, they better not get together in the first half of the book. I want to be going to the end, and then there's a big thing, and then they become acquainted again. Hopefully she meets some sick people throughout the book. I don't even know what I'm expecting. I just can't wait for it. Oh, it was so good. Apparently there's also a novella coming out in April, and it's about what she gets up to while Payden's in the trials and stuff. So Yeah, that'll be nice, but sad because she ends up dead. So, yeah. If you read this book, let me know your favourite moments below. What did you rate it? And yeah, I definitely recommend this book. Definitely if you like a slow burn, trial games, badass FMC, some good banter in there, good magical system. And yeah, just an easy read. It's not complex, which I loved. So yeah, you can just smash it. Hope you enjoyed this review and see you in the next one. Bye.